Welcome to Attican Plays Railroad Corporation. All right, hi, this is Attican and welcome to Series 11, Episode 2 of Railroad Corporation, the Civil War DLC. We're playing the first mission, Gunpowder Keg, and this is Part 2. Checking the profits, you see we are making money, but not a lot. When you, keep in mind we're doing this without passenger and mail. So we can't do any passenger mail, freight only, and makes it much tougher financially. So I'm just kind of checking the numbers here to see what's costing us the money and are we making any. At the end of the day, we're making money every quarter. We're just not making very much, and we're doing the best we can. In this episode, we're going to work on accelerating that a little bit. So we've got our textile business going over there centered around Manchester. We've got our lumber and paper in Pittsfield. We've got our meat industry in Pittsfield. And we need to expand. And we've got some wheat over there to the west. I don't remember the name of the town. Anyway, so we got a pretty decent little start. We own some of the industries. We're not just out here buying and selling stuff. We are selling our own goods. So that's all good. And that gives us hope, because if you're just buying, as I've said before, if you're buying everything, then you're in trouble. So here we're getting ready. The next thing I want to do is clothing. It's a very natural extension. We've got our farm. We've got which is going to produce the leather. We've got our textile industry going. And that would surprise me. You see me circle it there. It wasn't 22.5. It was only 18.3. I think our competitors are running out of steam. They don't have enough money. We've got an open bond. We've got to watch that $150,000 open bond and not get surprised by that. And we've got a $94,000 in loans, but that's okay. They pay off month by month. So there's not a big one-time hit like there is with the bond. The bond, when at 60 days, when that hits, it's going to hit for 150 grand. So we've got to have that covered. So we've got our spot for our clothing, but we're going to hold off now and make sure we've got enough money. So now it's just sit back and watch and hope our money keeps rolling in until we can close out that bond. So this is the train that we've been immediately selling lumber into Pittsfield from the sawmill in Pittsfield to get quick turnaround on cash. Now we're going to move it around and have it go over to Albany and deliver lumber to the tools factory in Albany, and we'll make good money there and keep selling our lumber. Now you can see we're only got 30 days left on that bond. We need 150. We have to be at least at 100,000 because we could go 50 in the hole on the overdraft. But if we're not at least at 100,000, we will lose the scenario. So now we're good. Now we see that we're actually over 150. So I'm going to go ahead and redeem it before something unforeseen happens, like trying to buy some of that expensive gunpowder for delivery. So now we're good. Now we've got our bond down. We can go cash for a while. And you can see our cash coming right back up pretty well. So we're starting to get we got a decent kind of, I'd call it a mediocre economy going right now. And we'll like I said, the next thing we want to do is get clothing in there and take those textiles and leather and go move ourselves up a notch, go up one step in the food chain, so to speak, and do clothing. So now we can start accepting these things like the meat. We've got a nice meat industry going in Pittsfield. We've got a steady supply of grain coming over there. And we've also got a lot of trains that are getting old, so it's time to start replacing them. And we're going to start replacing them with John Bulls so we can get a new train in there. Our character gives us greater hauling capacity and more mass, more power, but we pay for it with higher fuel costs and depreciation on the trains, and now we're starting to see that already. We haven't been going that long, and our trains are getting worn out, so we're having to replace them. But you know, it's a pain, but it's no big deal. Now we need to start delivering meat up to Laconia. So we're going to set up a little bypass around Manchester that kind of allows you to bypass Manchester even if you're going over to Portsmouth on the coast. And then we'll hook into that bypass and go on up to Laconia and drive a line up there so that we can have pretty free flow of trains moving up to Laconia as we start to get tasks that require us to go up there. Like right now we've got to deliver meat. We could get other things as well. The tasks in this particular mission tend to be, the Army requests tend to go back to those same three warehouses or same three cities where you're supposed to deliver the gunpowder. Allentown down in the southeast, Albany up here kind of in the center of the map or to the west of the map, and then over here to the east, northeast to Laconia. I decided to go ahead and get some double tracking done. We're starting to see, we've got some money now. So what I'm trying to do here is get that economy strong and then take advantage of that by double tracking, which then allows the trains to move even more quickly, which makes the economy even stronger. But you can't do that too soon. If you try to do the double tracking too soon, you end up spending all your money on track and you can't get anything done. You can't get the businesses you want, what have you. It's all these games are just about timing. It's when do I do certain things, and it's always kind of the same things, but it's when you do it is kind of what matters. So I'm just trying to mark all these trains that are doing my contracts with the little red flag so that I can easily find them in my list. And that's about it. I don't know if I have a whole lot more to say. It's pretty straightforward. You can kind of watch it and see what's going on. We just have to now balance out building the economy with doing those contracts for the government, and then checking out to see if there's any little contracts with the cities that we can do that would give us some low-hanging fruit, some easy money. And again, it's an example of how if we had passenger mail, like contracts with the city, we would. Who cares? We don't need it. We've got trains running, making tons of money with no, we don't even have to watch them. And the contracts are much more work, but they can be lucrative. And when we're only running freight, until you really hit a point where you've got, the big ticket like clothing and whiskey and stuff like that, furniture, until you get those big ticket items, your economy's kind of And you can see right there, we're quite a bit behind our buddies in terms of moving gunpowder, but not an issue. What we can do is start now that our economy's stronger, we can start sending more trains to buy up the gunpowder and deliver it. So I'm going to send one over to the green, to the purple guy, and one up there to the green guys set up, and we'll kind of take the gunpowder from their gunpowder mills and move it down to the delivery points to get credit for it. So here I'm kind of taking a look to see if we could speed up our economy a bit by doing some contracts. I typically don't do contracts at all unless I have to, but you know, they pay pretty well if you can find the right one. Like theirs, a paper delivery would be great, except that that's too far out and too hard to connect to, so we're not going to mess with that one. I was looking to see if I could actually build something in Marlboro. I'd like to, but I can't. In other words, there's no open land to buy a property so that you could place an industry in Marlboro. But I am looking to see if we can't get a connection over there to Warrensburg. So we're going to go over and just build a connection like that. Connect over to that opponent's line and then swing around to the other opponent's line. And what we're going to do is accept the wood delivery to Warrensburg, because we've got the line set up for it, and all we have to do is get a train or so on it, and that should be fairly easy to make some good money on that one. And we'll mark him with the green to say, okay, he's doing a contract for a city contract. And I can't swear that I was very consistent in doing my markings, but I'm trying. So now there's a great one. We're going to do grain. This is beautiful. We have a contract to deliver grain to Warrensburg, where they make grain. So all we have to do is pick up grain in Warrensburg and sell it to Warrensburg, and close out that contract. So that one is one that should never be a contract, of course. But we'll take it. It's easy money. Okay, this guy here, I want to change him. I want him to pick up the meat and then go up to our contract. We got that contract. We need trains on it. So rather than just taking stuff up to other places, we want to go ahead and reassign him to help us fulfill that contract. Now I'm looking for a new customer for that lumber, because he's filled up the one he was using, which was Albany. So now I'm just going to say, okay, well, Utica could use some lumber up there in that furniture factory, so have at it. And then while you're up there, you might as well buy some gunpowder and bring it back to Albany, since that's on your way back to Pittsfield. It's not one of the hardest things about not using passengers or mail, besides the fact that you don't have those dedicated lines printing money, is it's very hard to avoid deadheading, because you'll take a piece of freight somewhere, and where you could have picked up some passengers or mail and dropped them off somewhere on the way back so that you're not deadheading so much. Without the passenger or mail option, it's very hard to get combination which allows you to pick something up you can use somewhere else and take it back on your way returning. That's one of those rare cases right there where we could take lumber over to Utica, drop it off, make some money, pick up some gunpowder, drop it off in Albany on our way back to Pittsfield. Now I notice here our cash is getting low. We're getting negative again. We've been running cash only, and we might as well grab that money for the bond. Make sure we don't get in a situation where we go negative because we're starting to buy that expensive gunpowder now. And also want to go ahead and finish off what we started, seems like long ago now, which is the clothing industry. So I'm really just checking here now to see what's going on, and I want to go ahead and put in the clothing industry. So we put in the clothes factory in Manchester, and what we're going to do is just move our textiles straight to the clothing, sell the clothing, which is again moving us up the food chain. The clothing sells for more than the textiles. So we're going to put a little old best friend in Manchester, and his job is just going to be literally grab textiles out of the textile factory, put it in the clothes factory. And he's just going to keep doing that over and over. Now, what that's going to do, of course, is disrupt our textile exports and our other textile sales. So they're not going to be a big deal for us anymore. But we're going now, to make sure that clothing works, now that we have the clothing, we can start moving. We're going to move a couple of trains of leather over to Manchester for the clothes. And then in Manchester on the second one, we're going to have it, if they're available, grab some clothing and sell it. And right there, I actually goofed up, and I caught myself after I did this, after I'd left the train. I said, oops, I meant to make that optional. And then I couldn't find the train I was dealing with. So I'll come back to that in a minute and fix it. But what we wanted to do is drop off the leather in the clothes factory, and then if they're there, pick up clothing and sell it to Manchester so you can make some money and then go back and repeat. So now I'm trying to figure out which train was it that I put those orders on. There, now we just finished a grain contract. That was the one where we were just buying and selling straight into Warrensburg. This one right here, T17 it should be. Yeah. So what we're going to do now is, we're here, we might as well make some easy money. Let's just buy and sell straight into the city itself. So we can make good money just buying from Warrensburg and selling to Warrensburg. And you can see that the AI doesn't build up these stations all the time. It's a station that only has like one filling station, one service. I don't even think it has well, it does have service, but it only has one. So now that those guys are out of the way, we can just buy and sell at however fast that we can produce it, we can buy it and sell it to the town until the town is flooded with wheat. And that's really, truly easy money. Now that we've flooded Warrensburg with grain, we're already up there. We might as well go to a new target. So now we're going to tell it to go to Granville and just keep selling grain or wheat, whichever one it is. You'll notice I call it either one. We'll sell that grain off to Granville as long as Granville will take it. So might as well do that while we're up there. Okay, our Army contract for the meat up to Laconia has finished, so now we can repurpose those trains to deliver out to our cities that need the meat. So we'll send one off to Manchester, send this other one over to Portsmouth. make sure they're going, that's where they're headed next. And then if we get another meat contract, we can just go back and repurpose them to deliver the meat. And while we're at it, we might as well sell some to Boston. We have the connection, they have the demand, might as well make money on it. Here we go. There, I finally found that one that I'd set as mandatory. Now watch what happens when he goes. Watch our money. Boom, boom, boom. We sold 3 clothing at about 28 a piece, I think they were. Maybe about 75,000 in revenue. So now we'll set up some trains that have simple lines. Go sell clothing. And I'm just doing it to the ones we're connected to until I say, hey, well, shoot, let's sell some down there. So we're going to build a connection from Boston, and we'll do the bypass route. We'll go around Boston because we don't need to go into Boston actually to do what we're trying to get done. And we're going to go straight down here to Providence, and we're going to sell some clothing in Providence. We checked that legislation. There's a couple ways that you can really almost eliminate the law part of the game, not have to worry about it. One is if you don't do passenger mail, obviously, all those kind of laws don't matter to you. And the buying, selling ones, if you want to watch the selling in case somebody pays you less for it. But if you are running your own trains, running your own plants, so this is our clothing we're selling, then we don't care if they put a tax on it. As long as there's no tax or something that would buy clothing for less in Providence, something like that, we would care about that. Now that thing there that popped up says, okay, you can gain reputation with the South by shipping gunpowder down to New York. And I'm afraid that I'm just going to play this one through without worrying about the South. We're just going to worry about getting our reputation up with the North so that it isn't bad. And I'm not going to worry about running gunpowder to New York because I don't think I'm going to have enough time to get that done. And our money, while our economy is certainly stronger now, it is a long way from being where we want it. So now to that end, the other place that we can get Army contracts is to Allentown. So we're setting up a connection here that goes down to Allentown and allows us to make deliveries down there. And I was going to just run that back to Granville, and I thought, keep going, get this double tracked. That way if we're running meat down there or wood or whatever we're running down to Allentown, we got double track so we can get down there and back quickly. And because it's merging, I want to make sure that you can go from one track to the other, either way. There we go. Now that should work beautifully. And we've got a new contract to haul wood to Allentown, so that's what we're setting up. And it's a contract that happens to not hit any repairs, so we'll set up repairs down in Allentown. And this guy here went to sleep probably because we got low on money and he couldn't buy any more gunpowder, so we'll wake him back up. And that one used to be on a special route. It isn't anymore. It's just running goods. So now we've got the this guy here, we're going to have to start replacing some of these trains. They're getting old. I think we already started doing that, didn't we? And now we're just going to move this train over to the wood contract to Allentown. And this one will start, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to sell to, whoops, he's going to, once I fix this, he's going to pick up some meat, take it to Albany, then run over to Utica, grab some gunpowder, and then drop off that gunpowder in Albany at that special warehouse. As soon as I quit holding down the shift key while I'm doing it. There we go. I took the repairs off Albany's because it tends to get busy and they queue up too long. Wait there too long. Okay, so here's where we're really starting to see our trains age. Remember, our character, they age more quickly, so we're going to have to start replacing or knocking, some of these trains, the lines just don't matter anymore, but a lot of them we're just going to have to start knocking them down. And now that our money's starting to look a little better and we've got clothing going, we're going to get into research because we really want to get research out there and get better and better trains. It'll make the rest of our missions so much easier to have a good locomotive that can haul more stuff faster. I mean, it's huge in this game. I think this game, as much as any game I've played where trains are involved, the train that you run makes a lot of difference. The better the train, the better you do by a long margin. So here I decide, okay, we need to stop fighting. We need to go full bore clothing and not worry about the textile exports so much anymore. So I'm going to reprogram this guy to just drop his stuff off at the, move it over to the clothing factory. And then I think I just get rid of this one. I don't remember now. We'll see in a minute. And there I finally realized he's loading. He's not unloading, so make him optional and get rid of him. Because he is fighting against this one. And here I goofed. I don't know what I was thinking. I deleted the train that's actually doing the transfers between the two, to Little John Bull. So I go back and buy him again, replace him, and say, okay, take two out of the textiles, move it over to the clothing, and just get repaired and just keep repeating that process over and over. I don't know what I was thinking about when I deleted the best friend in the first place. So now we just want to keep that same strategy we had in Series 10 of just working out to the right, going for the best train we can get, not worrying about upgrading the trains as we go along until we get out to the end when we want to upgrade the really good trains. And I don't know if we'll make it all the way to the Forney on this playthrough as we did in Series 10. Again, we're our economy started up so much more slowly because of the fact that we didn't have passengers or mail. But at the same time, we can potentially stay here longer and keep going with that. I love the bypasses. See that T4, how it went around everything and just kept going? Beautiful, beautiful. It'll be interesting. I think I'm going to stick with this, not trying to build the reputation with the South, because then we won't be able to trade with the South, I don't think, when we first start new missions, and that should make them a little more difficult. So that'll be interesting to see. Okay, we're lagging on the gunpowder a little bit, but that's okay. We'll get there. And we're going to take direct action to improve that by just having dedicated trains that drop off. Now, there's a train in red condition, meaning it's getting old. And this is another one that was competing for those textiles. So we're going to have it quit picking up the textiles, and after it drops off these 3 textiles in Pittsfield, it will become a just a paper carrier. It will carry paper over to export. Okay, so our big bond, now we've redeemed that. Now we're back to cash basis again, only much stronger. Now that we've got a clothing factory going, the clothing's going to make us a lot of money, and really, now we have an economy. We really do have an economy that we can work with. And I want to bump up the cotton delivery and run an extra train that's going back and forth between the 2 ports to our textile factory in Manchester, so that we can get more cotton going. And getting a lot of traffic through there, so I want to double up this track where we can. Now they want meat in Albany, quite a bit of meat. But okay, that's okay. We'll take that one, and we'll make sure we have plenty of trains on it. So what we'll do here is, instead of competing for the meat and carrying meat over to our cities, we'll apply it to that contract. Now, there's some danger in this because we're not getting paid for those shipments as they come in. We have to wait till the contract's done to get our payment. So this really is this is not just a, just do it kind of a thing. If we didn't have the clothing and the lumber and the paper and everything to support our economy, between buying all that gunpowder and now having these contract shipments going off where we're not getting paid for our meat for a long time, there is a risk here. But fortunately, because we have the economy set up, we're cool. We can do this kind of thing. And this I like. I mean, I've got a train loading into that farm, and his only problem is that the farm can't eat it up as fast as he can bring it. Perfect. We just want to keep constant flow into that farm. That farm is huge for our contracts and our economy. And I'm even going to put a couple of more trains on. I want to get that done. And if we do come out of this with 0 for the south, we definitely want to come out with something for the north. We don't want everybody to hate us. Okay, our research is moving right along. We're in a small research though. We need to upgrade that research. Now that we've got some money, we need more research capability and more scientists. So we'll bump it up to level 2, which gives it 15 rather than 10, and later we'll bump it up to 20, so we can go as fast as possible with our research. And you can see all these trains are getting old now, and they need to be replaced. And we're just replacing them with another John Bull, so it has the same characteristics. We can run the same loads. It isn't too much work trying to, making these switches. And there's a lady who can save us money on wood. Now, we don't own the wood, so we definitely want her. So we'll upgrade our HR and hire her to give us better wood. And there's someone who's going to lower the cost of research and the upkeep on our locomotives. We'll definitely take him. There's 2 good hires right there. And here's one for lumber to Portsmouth with a nice bonus on it. So yeah, we could do that, I believe. Ooh, now right there, notice I hit a quick pause because there's that situation where you're buying stuff and a couple of them happen to hit the wrong time. We went down almost bankrupt. We almost lost right there. I hit pause and opened up a bond and just made sure we had plenty of money. And the other reason I did a bond rather than just a small loan was I want to keep going. I want this to keep going. I want to keep this research firing off. I want to keep expanding our businesses. And the contracts are getting bigger and bigger, which means they need more and more trains to get them done quick enough. So we'll use that extra money we got from the bond to increase our research capability, all that good stuff. And we're just going to pour more trains onto buying and selling gunpowder. So Pittsfield's kind of become the place. And there I screwed up and didn't make that request for the wood. Shame on me. Shame, shame, shame. Now, after seeing that failure, I didn't want to see another one, so we'll put more trains on that meat. We'll make sure that meat contract gets fulfilled, if possible. And continue replacing these poor. I think I saw the red. Those two right there, those are goofs. They are actually already scheduled for upgrade. I saw the red, just went for it, but it's actually the replacement symbol. And here I thought, well, why don't we start running Jervises? They would be faster and they can take about the same load. Okay, there's a good one. Price of all locomotives. So let's upgrade HR again. Our locomotive's cheaper, and the John Bull. Now here's where I changed my mind. Instead of running the Jervis, we can get cheaper John Bull. So we're just going to do John Bulls for the rest of this, since that guy came along and gave us the cheaper trains. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good decision, because the Jervis is definitely a better train. You can see there's lots of gunpowder there to pick up on. So I'm going to run even more trains over there to do the gunpowder. So between that person with the all locomotives are cheaper and the 40% off John Bull, we're now getting them at half price at $13,000 versus $26,000 before. So now I'm happy I can spam trains the way I like to. Closing in on that meat contract to Albany. Our wood to Warrensburg isn't looking so great. In fact, I can't even find the train that's supposed to be doing it. I think at this point I'm thinking, man, I might have really goofed up here. But look at that replacement price for these John Bulls, $0. So we're going to have to get down to the almost brand new ones before we even have to pay for the replacement. Still not. They're still free. Now there's one that's been idle because the contract is closed out. So I'm just going to have him. I'll send him there, and that's a waste of time. He's never going to make it. Never going to make it. There, we finally have to pay something for a John Bull because that one was fairly new. And the rest of these are in green shape, meaning they're in good condition. They're not that old. So there we go. We've swapped out our older trains, and we're still making good money. We've got a lot of trains hauling the gunpowder, so we should be in good shape. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Railroad Corporation video. Thank you.